Welcome to Metaburst 5. Today's topic is the study cycle. At the end of today's Metaburst, you will be able to explain the study cycle and practice using the study cycle. So here's the study cycle, and basically the study cycle outlines the process involved in helping you to learn effectively. So we start the study cycle with previewing material. Okay, and in order to preview like a pro, this slide shows you some things that you can do, and this is especially key before you come to class. So how do you preview like a pro? Well, first you start with the title of whatever it is that you are looking at, whether it's a problem set or it is a reading passage. You read over any of the objectives and the outcomes, okay, because remember, again, that provides you a focus. Then you skim the introduction, you review or view all the different headings and subheadings within the chapter or the sections that you want to read. Focus on visuals and examples that they show you throughout the designated sections you want to read. Look for bold and italicized words, and then skim over the chapter summary or any closing paragraphs. And then finally, read over any chapter questions. This will give you a great preview into what you're going to learn. It'll help you be able to have a more focused study session. Okay. The second step of the study cycle is to actually attend class and be present, both mentally and physically. So when you're in class, you can maximize your learning and your ability to focus by preventing distractions. The cell phone can be a great distraction. Thinking about other things while you are listening to the lecture or when you're supposed to be discussing in a collaborative group or pair, make sure that you are actually doing what you're supposed to be doing, okay, to make your presence beneficial to you. The third step in the study cycle is to review. And the key is to review as soon as you can after your class. Make sure you read your notes and fill in any gaps that are missing. If you have any questions, to jot them down. Remember the forgetting curve. Okay, you're going to lose 42% of what you learned in the first 20 minutes. So that review is very key, and the sooner you do it, the better it is. The next part is actually studying. Okay, and when you study, if you remember from previous Metaburst, repetition and retrieval are two key aspects to studying. Okay, and so here we focus on the intense study session. And whenever you study, whether you've got 5 minutes, you've got 20 minutes, or you've got an hour, the first thing you want to make sure you do is to set a goal. What is it that you want to accomplish in that study session? Secondly, when you are actually studying during that time frame, avoid any distractions, use that timer technique, set it for whatever time you have decided that you're going to focus on, and do not let distractions come in the way. Okay, no cell phone, no TV. If you are in a home that's distracting, try to let the people around you know that don't disturb me for a certain amount of time. Try to make that environment the most study friendly for you. Okay. Finally, take a few minutes of a break. Okay, that's where you can reward yourself. And again, that depends on how much time you actually have for a study session. And then go back and review. Complete all 4 steps of the study cycle for it to be, or study session, for it to be most efficient. Okay. And the last part is to actually assess. And so you can assess your learning by, creating your own tests, periodically checking to see what you understand and how well you understand it, asking somebody else to ask you questions. There's numerous ways to do this, but you really want to make your assessment critical for you to know whether you really know what you know or understand what you don't know. And so here are some strategies that can help you in that study, review, and assessment portion. Okay. The first one is thinking out loud. So as you are doing your reading and reviewing your notes, it's very important to kind of talk to yourself here. Okay. Talk out loud. Share the things that you are learning. A lot of times when you are thinking out loud and talking it out loud, you actually end up clarifying concepts. And you can figure out what you know, what you don't know, and what you need to spend more time on. So thinking out loud is extremely important. Ask yourself self-reflective questions. Do I really know what I think I know? How can I demonstrate what I know? Try teaching that information to somebody else. Okay, this is very key so that you stay in study mode or in learn mode. If you can explain that information to somebody in somewhat basic terms, then you are going to know it better. And again, in that process of maybe teaching it to somebody else, you clarify things as well. And finally, create your own assessments or work in a collaborative group where you each can create part of the assessment and you can, quiz each other and ask each other questions. You can help clarify concepts by working in a little group. So group study is very, very useful of a technique when you're trying to go through the study cycle process. So let's do a self-check. What is the study cycle? See if you can answer that. How can you plan an intense study session? And what are 2 behaviors you can practice to demonstrate your understanding of the study cycle? Get started today. If you can do this and implement this in the next 24 hours, you're likely to see a dramatic change. And if you don't do it in the next 24 to 48 hours, you're not likely to implement. So what are you waiting for? Get moving with metacognition.